Death Metal Welcome. Rauta's reviews today present you a band from Italy, and this one is death metal the old school way. If you're familiar with bands such as Incantations and Immolation from United States of America, you pretty much know this band already, because that's exactly what these Italian guys are trying to emulate. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with copying some good bands and good ideas if you execute them well. But if on the other hand you just end up copying the cat, being the copycat, get it? So maybe it's not such a good idea. But let's take a look how this album looks like. So this one is called Ekpyrosis and Primordial Chaos Restored. What an random generated name. So here's the cover, and as you can see, this is for promotional use only. Just a sticker here, so this is the real deal except for the sticker. And as you can see from the cover as well as the logo, this actually looks like a black metal release, upside down crosses and whatnot. But make no mistake, even though this might look like a black metal release, it's solid old school death metal with kind of a mid-tempo and some slow parts, well, some fast ones too. Now, like I said, this band is all about trying to do what Immolation and Incantation especially have been doing past 30 years and something, and that kind of gets underlined with the fact that there's an Incantation cover song which doesn't really differentiate from the rest of the material here. Now, as a 5 songs MCD, this is not very lengthy one, but can still get quite dull, to be honest. And the reason is, this is not exactly one of those most memorable death metal releases ever, but quite the contrary. Because in fact what these guys are doing is just, trying to get the grasp of what made Incantation and Immolation so good, except for the fact that this one is quite mediocre release. Now the growling vocal parts here are quite raw and kinda inhuman, and there's basically nothing wrong with that. They are at least decent, if not better than that, at least doing their job quite well. When it comes to the production, they are also quite decent. The kind of a muddy sound that reminds me late 80s, early 90s death metal. So not that clean, kind of a toothless production, but more on the, gutter side. Quite fitting for the music. Now, the actual problem is exactly with the music. Now that these guys are, trying to do what I are doing, with the riffs creating kind of a sinister vibe and being very dark and kind of a guttural. The thing is that these songs are not exactly very interesting. I'm not saying they are bad as such, but one has to be quite fanatic about Immolation and Incantation to actually enjoy this to the full. Now, some of the material by Incantations, in my opinion, is not that good really. Well, some are better, obviously. But it has never been my favorite band, so maybe I'm a little biased here. But the fact is that this band is not reaching even the levels of this legendary death metal band, but doing kind of a recycled version of what Incantations or Immolation were doing. Now, I'm not saying that this is worthless. If you are into those 2 bands mentioned before really, really much, then this is definitely something one might consider checking out. But then again, if you don't have at least, say, half a discography of each band, I don't see any reason why one would be interested in, checking this band out, because while they totally get the idea, they are unable to emulate the same feeling, which is so often the case with just any band doing something after some particularly meaningful band. Whether it's death metal, black metal, thrash metal, one has to have its own ideas, or at least copy really, really good to get to the same level or even exceed it. And this is not getting there, not by, not anywhere near in my opinion. But like I said, this is just a matter of taste kind of thing, even more than with so many other albums. So consider my words, whether you want to spend your time searching or listening to this one or not. Anyhow, I'll leave that choice up to you. And once again, thank you for watching this review, and see you soon with more stuff coming your way. Cheers.